Hello, everyone. So we talked about this many times before, and we're going to talk about it many times to come because unfortunately it's only going to get worse, and that's the simple reality for a lot of people. And the simple reality is too, a lot of people are struggling, and we'll get into all that now in a second. But everybody knows that this country, for the sake of the environment, even though China and India pollute the environment more, like Ireland only has it's a small country with a small population. China and India has billions of people, and the majority of stuff we get is from China, etc., from India, sweatshops, etc., and produce a huge amount of plastic, etc., into the world's atmosphere, etc. But there's nothing done of that. We see China building more coal power plants. There's no such thing as China building the windmill, or there's no such thing as China building anything environmentally sustainable. They're talking about building, let's go for the coal, but there's no such thing as let's go for the windmills. Nobody's saying that. In this country, they've went down that path. And along with that, it's made the country more vulnerable because, as you know, 80% of Ireland's electricity comes from the outside. It doesn't come from inside. Mainly because the Irish government closed. We used to have peat tough power plants down the countryside there, and they got rid of them. And they won't do basically anything in this country to produce its own energy. They won't do anything. And then obviously we have our data centers taking up the whole country's energy, so no wonder. But yeah, logic never existed. But what I'm trying to say is, I've seen today, and again, this is very worrying, particularly because, as you know, the electricity bills are going up and up and up, and there's no really stopping it. But unfortunately, 58,000 people are in arrears on the electricity bill. What I mean by arrears is they're behind on the electricity bill. Some cases they're behind by 3 or 4 electricity bills. I think one person, I've seen it online, that one person is nearly behind by €3,000. So think about that, that the folk are 3,300 and something euro. They have to try and find that money somewhere. And as the woman says, where is she going to find it? She has a part-time job. Um, you know, it's very little chance she'll be able to pay it all back. She'll probably take a few years for to pay it all back. But there's no help from the government. The government's like, fuck you, we don't care. And of course, this woman's Irish too, so that's mainly Irish people that's affected by this. It's not so much people in IPAS settlers, because let's be fair, the government are paying their bills. There's no such thing as not being paid. But yeah, the government simply don't care. Like, they really should. And I'm just looking at today, was Ireland supposed by 2030 take over Luxembourg as the most wealthiest country in Europe? Obviously, Ireland is an extremely wealthy country. The money goes to the people at the very top. It doesn't go down to the people. The people struggle. The people bust their bollocks to pay for the establishment, but that doesn't go to the people. But they can easily, in the morning, if they wanted, to the government, do energy credits, and I don't think they should do it for everybody now. But I do think they should do it for people that are vulnerable, people that are in arrears and stuff, people that are in a difficult situation. Like there's people that are able to afford to pay for their bills, etc. But I'm saying that people like these 58,000 people that are very vulnerable people, they should be paying for them. They should be at least trying to pay half, at least, the government, the other people, to reduce the tax on it for a while even. But the fact of the matter, they just don't give a shit. They don't care to do it. They don't want to do it. They couldn't give a shit. And that's as simple as that. They just couldn't care. As simple as that. And that's the sad reality, but it's the truth. And the other thing is that we pretty much abandoned energy sufficiency, energy sovereignty, in a way. We've kind of handed it over to other countries. It's utterly mad. And the fact of the matter that we keep importing oil, take for example, from the Middle East and from other countries, but we have our own oil fields off the coast of Mayo, etc. But we won't do it because the environment, because we might fucking annoy Eamon Ryan, and we couldn't do that. He's probably somewhere asleep, but nowhere to be found, Eamon Ryan, at the moment. All the better. But yeah, and what I'm trying to say, energy sustainability, energy security, and the whole energy system's fucked. You think they would be stopping? Like, I just even seen that there's applications for more data centers, that big data centers, across the country. There's 3 or 4 applications there by Dublin City Council to look at, to do with the building of more data centres. Now, you think Dublin City Council will come out and say we're not allowing any more for another while until we get the whole situation sorted with this whole Iran situation and the current situation in the world. But you think that would be clever. But of course, this is Ireland. There's no cleverness at all. And they just simply don't give a shit. And they will just approve it, unfortunately. All the data centres. But they should be paying their fair share. And to be totally honest, we should do what they do in Finland. Now, there are very few data centres in Finland. But in fairness, in Finland, they actually use the head. They have a head, some of them, that you're able to use the leftover power produced by the data centers to heat people's homes, etc. There's a very introvert system in Finland that they use for to use up the extra power that the data sets produce to heat up people's homes and stuff for free. And in this country, you get stuff for free. Irish people getting things for free. No, we couldn't do that. If you're from Timbuktu and stuff, you get stuff for free. Don't worry about that. But if you're Irish, you're never going to get anything for free. You'll be left on the side of the road. But yeah, it just goes to show you this country is rotten to the core. Nothing's ever going to change, unfortunately. But I do feel very sorry for people that are on the wheels, because a lot of people are working hard, and this is the thing, a lot of people are working hard and doing their best to pay the bills and doing their best to make ends meet. And they're just getting fucked over in every conceivable way. They're getting fucked over every way. And it's not a lot of people's fault. A lot of people just fall behind. It's not their fault. In some cases, you could argue some people could be alcoholics or somebody could be on drugs, etc. That's a different story. But the majority of people are working and they're trying to pay a mortgage, they're trying to do this, they're trying to do that, they're trying to raise the children. It's not easy, it's not simple. And especially if you only, like, take for example, on a low income, or if you're only working part time, or even if you have other commitments and stuff, like secure, like, take for example, looking after elderly people, etc., your family. It's not easy. Anyway, let me know what you think. Do you think this is going to improve anytime soon? Not likely, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it's going to be very tough winter for a lot of people. But we see what happens. Hopefully, please God, it would end the thing in Iran, but it doesn't look like it. Let me know what you think. Bye.